Finally, I get you in my chair, Anita. We have been trying to coordinate our schedules forever.
It's so true.
Absolutely.
And I've been dying to be sitting in this chair. I've watched Lisa, my dear friend Gabe, so many people who, when I first moved to Toronto, actually, I just heard about Raj Girn's Open Chest. Aww. And I thought, you know what? I will have made it when I have an open chest with Raj GIRN.
Oh my gosh, you just absolutely blessed and honored me, sweetheart. You have made it because of the massive body of work that you have actually curated, created, performed in, and there's so much of it. And I wish I had so much more time than I really do have to chat about all of it, but I'm going to try and get it all in as much as we can.
Stuff it in.
You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do it. Murder Unveiled. You know I got to go there first.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me and the viewers a little bit about what that movie was about, because it was a very poignant, true story.
The story of Murder Unveiled remains very, very close to my heart, and I think most Canadians. Story of Jassi, her name is Devinder in the film.
Yes.
Who fell in love with an auto rickshaw driver on a trip to India because she was from Maple Ridge, BC.
Yeah.
She was very rich, he was very poor.
Yeah.
So he played kabaddi, they fell in love, so they wanted to get married, but knowing that, her family likely wouldn't be on side. So they eloped, married in secret. Family found out, she ran away with him, and consequently, it is alleged that they had her assassinated.
Right, and there was a massive case about it. It was all over the place when that came out. And I didn't realize when I saw this that it was you that was playing this role.
Yeah.
And that actually is a testament to actually a lot of the stuff that I've seen you in. You magnificently morph yourself, into who these people are. It's, I'm going to get blasted for saying this, but people like Shah Rukh Khan play Shah Rukh Khan in every movie.
Right.
But because they are larger than life, they always seem to play themselves somehow.
And I think that's a different kind of art, right?
Yeah.
And maybe, I'm not trying to be diplomatic because I agree.
Yes.
Like Salman Khan plays Salman Khan, and audiences go to watch Salman Khan.
Absolutely.
But when you want a film or a project where the story actually has to come first,
yes.
Not let's go see the new Salman Khan film, let's see the new Shah Rukh Khan film.
Right, and even that has its value. We know that. We all go to see them.
And those make money, right?
Yes.
Like, let's not pretend that it's about anything other than making the producers money.
Absolutely.
And so you have projects that fall into different categories. I have been very fortunate in my career to have had a bulk of work that have been love projects.
Yes.
The projects that, to me, it was about the story. And I think right from the beginning of my career, starting with Murder Unveiled, which was very, very, I hate using this word because of the story and where it comes from, but in some ways auspicious.
Yes.
It set right from the get-go that, Anita Majumdar, she does work, she does pieces, she does projects that are meaningful.
Right.
And that meant something to me.
Right.
I couldn't rely on my looks because I didn't know how to.
Because you don't look like Bollywood.
No, but I don't look, for most of my career, I've spent a lot of time feeling like I don't really look like anything.
Right.
I actually can't rest on any laurels. And that's also the way I was raised.
Yes.
My mom, felt very unattractive herself.
Yes.
So she instilled in me what worked for her, which was you need to be smart.
Yes.
What's worked for me is that you are much more attractive than I am, but that alone isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to surprise the world. The world's going to look at you and see a fair-skinned girl who, has all the things that I don't.
Right.
But I want you to surprise them.
The interesting thing is that you do look like, because you know how it is in your industry, it's about finding where you fit. Like it's the typecasting.
Typecasting.
We know.
What type are you?
This
Are you
is
the
a
girl
reality.
next door?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you do look like a North American girl. I do see you fit in so many roles that are taking place in pop culture in North America. I don't potentially see you in Bollywood, even though you are such a seasoned, Kathak performer.
Right.
Right? And I've seen you perform and you're brilliant.
Thank you.
The thing that I find really, really interesting about you, Anita, is that you have such an eclectic body of skill set. You know, you write your own stories, you act in them, right? You dance in them. You've got this incredible way of being poignant and, you know, just really making a statement, because I've seen you on stage. You invited me to one of your performances, but then, you know, in the next moment, you're funny. And I'm laughing out loud, right? In another moment, you know, I'm seeing other aspects of your acting prowess come about, which tells me that you actually are a trained theatre actress. And you can tell the difference between a trained theatre actor and someone that is a TV trained actor.
Absolutely.
You can really see the difference. And I think that's probably, in case you don't know it, I want to tell you what I think. That I feel is the magical point of difference of you as an actress than a lot of them out there that are vying for, you know, the roles.
The way that I think my career has unfolded is that whatever it is I'm able to do with my hand, with everything God gave me,
Yes.
that me being kind of pretty is just an added bonus.
Yes.
It just
It's a
it
part
makes
of the
the package
package.
a little more palatable, because I think I'm very unconventional looking for the things that we know as mainstream.
Well, you don't look Indian, I'll tell you that.
Yes,
I
and
think
I've
you
heard that a
actually
lot.
do. I feel that you do look mainstream.
And I think that's been the bridge point. So while I was doing Murder Unveiled, I was also starting to develop fish eyes.
Yes.
And those two things happening concurrently was this strange symbiosis of, again, sort of casting a net as to what my career is going to look like. At that time, I thought, you know what, I'm doing this movie now, and that too, you know, I booked Murder Unveiled 4 months out of getting out of theater school.
Wow.
And at the time, and I still remember it, during that time, it felt like I'm never gonna work, like what's gonna happen, when am I gonna get discovered?
Yeah.
And then Murder Unveiled happened.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, now like my career is just going to take off. I don't need to worry about theater anymore. I'm just going to do film and television.
Yes.
What I didn't realize was that my soul is in theater, that my voice is heard through theater.
Right.
I
get that about you.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, I love the glamour of film. I love the immediacy of a camera, but there's nothing like the sensation of being on stage and knowing that unless your director is crazy, no one's going to stop you from doing the show the way you want to do it that night. The way, if you want to change a line, especially if you've written it, that, you know, you have the ability to say, I'm trying something tonight.
Right.
And I want to feel through my entire body, is the audience keeping up with me, or am I losing them? And if I'm losing them, I need to do something different to get them back.
Got it.
And that's,
so you're really cognizant then of this, you know, really important relationship between you as a performer and your viewer in the audience. Like you're really cognizant of that, aren't you?
because we're the same.
Yeah.
We're all engaged in this experience tonight. This will never occur again. Tomorrow I'll do the show for a new set of people, and they'll have their own experience, and we'll share something together. But tonight we're sharing this. You will never get this performance ever again, and I think there's something so beautiful about that.
I absolutely agree. There's something so organic and so raw and almost naked about that, right? Fish Eyes, you brought it up. That was such a tremendous success. What gave you the idea to do this one-woman show? You did everything in that. What, like,
It's true.
that's
I continue
scary to do it that soon in your career. Like a lot of people
Very.
will wait,
Yes.
you know, until they've kind of got some, you know, ground-bearing kind of experiences in the industry, right? You didn't do that, girlfriend, and I love that about you. You just said, I'm feeling this, and you made it happen. Talk to me about where that all came from for you, because people from our community definitely in Canada weren't even doing any of that. It's like you're always going against the grain, I find, which I like about your career.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about Fish Eyes.
Fish Eyes was actually a school project when I was at the National Theatre School. And a classmate had suggested, you know, you should do something funny. You should do something, you know, you're such a great Indian dancer, but it should be something funny because you're actually really funny. And I think what makes me funny is that I take everything so seriously, that I think like my world is like a Bollywood movie. Like everything's dramatic. Like, can you believe they said that? Like, that's actually how I write. I make mountains out of molehills. And I
love it.
Focus on those little things that just, they just twinge in our hearts and we can't forget them and can't stop thinking about it. And I like writing those stories. And at that time, I think, I mean, this might be blasphemy, I might be missing something, but I think I was one of the few South Asian women
to do a one-woman show?
To do a one-person show.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. Or if not the first, definitely one of the first.
One of the first. I don't think I was the first, but there wasn't in the way that there is now.
There's been dancers, no, but there have been dancers who have done one-woman shows. But I'm not sure if there's been performers.
Where you're talking.
Where you're doing all of it.
Yeah.
Where everything's happening.
Yeah.
You know who I grew up with in the 80s in England, who you know, was really, really revolutionary at doing that, was Mira Sayal.
Oh, yeah.
Need I say more?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you kind of remind me a little bit about, you know, to me, you're kind of like a young Mira Sayal in the fact that you got the guts to just kind of do your own projects and do what you believe in. And hopefully people will resonate. And I think the reason why they always have resonated with you in that arena is because you do truly believe in it. There's passion that goes into it and you're very authentic.
Thank you.
People can see fake.
Yeah.
You can't, on stage,
oh,
forget about it, right? But I feel that those are elements that do kind of set you apart. That I don't feel that you really perform per se when you're acting. You kind of, I get this sense that you really do believe the things that these characters are experiencing. Am I right?
It's true, but it's also because that's the kind of actor I am. I remember a fellow actor had once said, she had married a journalist, and she had said, you know, it's so funny because my husband's job is to tell the truth for a living and mine is to tell a lie. And I had said, I don't agree with that, because I think of myself as a very moral person.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I'm going out on stage and lying to all these people who've paid perfectly good money to be told the truth.
Right.
And so
and your version of it.
Yes, and that's what is the truth. It's always our version, our character's version, our personal version. You know, when you start working on a story, film, theater, television, you start to see the story through your character's eyes.
Yes.
Because that's the only way you can, how do you exist, you know? Like, I'm doing this interview with you through my perspective as the character of Anita.
Yes.
But that's always just a perspective. And so I can only understand my characters by believing that they are the protagonist of the story.
Absolutely.
In my
and that
case,
they would actually do this.
Yes,
right? That they actually would do this.
And if I don't know why they're doing it, then I need to figure that out really quickly.
Right.
I have to justify it. That's why, you know, so many actors want to play villains, because it's so challenging. How do you play the antagonist and believe that you are right?
Right.
And for me, when I write my own work, I believe that, you know, when I talk to my friends and I say, you know, like, you know, rape is wrong. Like, a woman has the right to choose. I feel like I'm talking to all of us who, you know, I'm just preaching to the choir. How am I reaching those people who don't believe quite yet or don't quite understand how consent works?
Right.
What is it for a woman's right to choose? And not just for me to stand on stage and give a sermon, but how do I put that in a context that is familiar, that's unassuming? And that's why, you know, I have chosen to use the vehicle of high school. Putting in dance because I love dance and it's a part of me, but it's still an entertainment vehicle. I'm not stupid about the fact that I know a lot of people come to see my work because, like, you might get to see a little skin and I'm an all right dancer.
That's okay.
But I got you in the door.
Yeah.
Now you're with me, and unless you're really, like, you hate it and you're just gonna walk out, I have you here with me.
Undivided.
So now I'm gonna sneak in the message that I actually want to talk about while I'm doing these kathak spins and, you know,
giving you this,
dancing some Britney Spears.
Right.
But I'm still, I'm giving you what you want, but I'm really giving you what I want.
Yeah.
I want you to take away from the show so that the show actually continues on after you've left the theater. That discussion happens at, you know, the water cooler, at your workplace, with your family. I know someone had come to see the show, Same But Different, and had said,
Which was the one that I saw, and I thought it was flipping brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
And I brought my son with me.
Yes, I remember seeing you both in the audience.
Yeah, I said, honey, I want you to come to see this one. And he came. I'm telling you, you had his undivided attention. So
Amazing.
Here you've got a Gen X and you've got millennial sitting in an audience, right, watching and appreciating what you're doing, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
That's the magic, right?
Yeah.
That's the magic.
And that's why I love doing it, right? That, that you can have parents and children and people who are South Asian, people who aren't South Asian, that we're all sitting in the same room, and the story means something different to us. Some of us have heard the story, but are listening to it in a new way. Some people have never heard the story. I mean, Same But Different. The issue of shadism was
shocking, I bet, to some people. But we
incomprehensible. Exactly.
But for us, it was, honestly, it's funny because, for us, it was so unsensational because it was just a given that if you were dark-skinned, that you weren't pretty.
Yeah.
It was just a given.
Yep.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about is that, Deepa Mehta saw you perform, right? And she was, encapsulated by you as an artist. And of course, we all know that you were in her Midnight's Children. Tell me how that all came about. That's the first thing I want to ask you. And the other thing I want to ask you about that particular, movie is this is now you playing a role created by someone else, which is very different from a lot of stuff you do because there's, a lot of stuff you perform in is stuff that you've created.
Yep.
So it's kind of almost like there's a different dynamic, right? A distinctly different dynamic there. So talk to me about Midnight's Children, how you got it, and how you had to get your head around someone else's character versus a character you created from within you.
Midnight's Children, how I got the part is actually a really juicy story. I was undergoing...
We love juicy stories at
I
Open
thought
Chest
you might. So I've never told this story to anyone except you.
Oh my gosh. You
get ready.
Me, my darling. Tell me. I want to hear it.
I was undergoing one of the worst breakups of my life. When I think about it now, I still don't really know how I got through that period of my life. And it was about, I would say, 4 months in, and it was still achy. And what would have been, I think, our 5-year anniversary was coming up that week.
Wow.
So it was the first week of November. So I'm sitting there with my heart broken, and then I get this email out of the blue from Deepa Mehta. And I remember it was a Tuesday, I believe, and that anniversary that was coming up was a Friday. So the Tuesday came up, I got this email, and this doesn't seem possible. And we'd already met. She had said she'd come for a talk back for the Misfit almost 2 years earlier.
Yes.
And someone in the audience during the talkback had asked, when are the two of you going to do a movie together? And before I could answer, she had said, very soon.
Oh, she already, she knows.
She's already thinking about it. And then I got this email and said that from Deepa saying, what are you up to these days? I think there's a part in this little project that I'm doing that might be perfect for you. And I said, I'm doing nothing. I'm doing nothing.
Even if I was doing something, I would find a way to do nothing.
My heart is breaking. That's what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing.
Bella.
And then she said, great, why don't we just to verify, see if, let's test you on camera. Deepa was not there. So this, again, the email came on Tuesday. I had Wednesday, Thursday to prepare, went in Friday, which would have been the anniversary. So I go in thinking, this feels a little bit like it's written in the stars, but I don't want to jinx it. So I'm just going to go in. Deepa isn't even there. It's just with her assistants. And so I do this camera test. No one says anything, thinking I bombed it. No one's laughing. No one's like, I don't know really, I've never done an audition like this ever before, where the director isn't there and I'm not even really with casting directors. And I left thinking, I blew it. Like, that's it.
And that's all you need to hear in the state of mind that you were already in.
Yeah,
right?
Because it's that woe was me, no, nothing's going my way, no one loves me.
Yeah.
And then within 7 hours of doing the audition, I got an email back from Deepa. I think she was in Texas or somewhere, and she's like, I saw your tape. It was brilliant. It was so funny. No one's done Emerald that way before. I'm officially offering you the part of Emerald. And so this day that I had already prepared to be very sad because it was supposed to be the would-be anniversary was this amazing day. Like, it was
that
just...
was like a message from
the night
like
was
the
just fantastic.
angels, like the universe that, okay, girl, enough.
Yeah.
This is where you need to be.
And I had a bunch of friends who kept telling me, you need to get out of here. You need to get out of the city, just go somewhere else. You just need to be away from him, but be away from the city that you occupied together.
Yes.
What better way to do that than spend like 4 months in Sri Lanka for and feeling fabulous, as
Feeling
much as,
worthy.
and
right?
You know,
As
you have someone
women?
like Deepa Mehta say like, I believe in you. There's, you know, and I later found out, you know, Kangana was up for the part, Kalki was up for the part. There was like a number of people.
Amazing actresses.
Amazing, who I look up to.
Yeah.
But she thought I was the right person for the role. And I loved playing Emerald. I loved that role. I thought she was very funny, even though she's kind of the vamp of the movie. And I loved working with Rahul. I had so many good friends out of that, and a supportive sisterhood.
Absolutely.
And you know, you had asked me how was Midnight's Children, you know, a piece of work that someone else had written. I've only actually been writing my own work, I would say now, for the last 11 years.
It's a long time, young lady. It's a long time.
But at the same time, it's outside of that, I've been performing other people's words, you know, since I was 15, whether it be stage or now film.
Yes.
What was particularly challenging about Midnight's Children is that it's not just, you know, Shakespeare, not to say just Shakespeare, but lots of people have performed that.
I know exactly what you mean, yes.
It's not...
But not this story.
Yeah. And not this story, not one so meaningful, not the first time this is ever being adapted for film, and not Salman Rushdie.
Right.
And
all of those dynamics,
all
babe.
of those.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you hear, a lot of the family members that exist in Salman's life, we're playing them.
Yes.
So on top of it being a Salman Rushdie story, on top of it being Midnight's Children, you also have the extra layer of, all right, so you're playing Salman's family member, so do a good job.
Right.
That I've never experienced in that way before.
Right.
A sort of expectation to meet someone who exists in life, and I have in part with Murder Unveiled, but not someone where there's very little written about their real life. And so I have to find the balance between reading the book a lot, finding the hints of what tells me about my character through the book and the script, and then saying, what does my imagination tell me?
Right. And how do I play this role?
Yeah.
Right? And not get stuck in the fog of, you know, too much intellectual thought process, because that can really mar the creative process, right? Because there's almost like a balance between the two that needs to be had for an actor,
and
right?
I think when I first came out, when I did Murder Unveiled, I was very bookish in that way. I was going to do everything by the book, everything that I've been taught in theater school, like a binders full of just notes and doing the research, and I'd love to brag about how much research I did. Now, 11 years later, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Not that it doesn't matter. You do however much work you need to do to get there, to get the part. But it's not a point of bragging, which I've understood now after all these years, because nobody cares.
Right.
Like the bluntness of this business is nobody cares.
I so agree
just
with you.
care about the delivery.
I so agree with you 110%. What do we have to look forward to next?
I have been performing like a fiend for 2 years. So I'm giving myself, I think, a well-deserved break this year. But I think there's a lot churning still. And I do also feel like I'm starting to wrap up a little bit of my past. I feel I'm on the cusp of something that's pretty transformational, and I
Yes.
don't know what that quite means yet.
Yes.
It feels like a very transformational time, but I do
Yes.
feel like I'm wrapping up some of the things that have made me sort of known. Fish Eyes, the trilogy, is now
Yes.
getting published after 11 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So the book.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
sweetheart. That's a
Thank
big
you.
deal.
And it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
It's a love project for 11 years.
Yes.
All 3 plays exist now. I've performed them across the country. They will continue to get performed. Eventually, someone else will have to perform them.
Right.
It's
But that's what you
inevitable.
want.
Yes.
Right?
I want to
It's a
collect the money
legacy.
while someone else does
I hear
it.
you, girl. You've put in the work. Now, you need some delivery back.
Yeah, and then I can also be free to go do other things.
Absolutely. I agree
And I
with you
think
completely.
as I wrap up, we'll prepare
This
for the book
phase
launch.
of your life.
Yeah.
Right?
And it makes me free to write new things.
Yes.
I've been held in this sort of holding pattern for a while because we're just trying to get the work on its feet. We're trying to get it
Absolutely.
seen. Same but Different was a particularly expensive project, so it just took a lot of collaborators, a lot of money. And now the work is out there. It's been
Wow.
disseminated. It'll get produced again, I'm sure. But now the time is for me to write something else, and also go be in movies, go do voice work, go do things that make my heart sing and pay the bills for a little bit, so I can keep
hear
dreaming
you.
and imagining.
I absolutely agree with you. You definitely need to go out there and do it. And there couldn't be a better time. I'm going to get into a marginalized comment here, but it's, facts are facts. There couldn't be a better time for people in our communities, artistic fields to actually really get out there and be successful, because it truly, as cliche as it truly is timing, right? And with all of the talent within our community, in front of the camera, behind the scenes, and all of what's going on in the pop cultural mainstream, they know who we are now.
Yeah.
Right? They know who we are. They know we exist. And they're
Yeah.
intrigued. Like, you don't get something like Quantico going
I was
number one
just
around
gonna
North
say that.
America
Yeah.
with a Bollywood actress
Yep.
if our time has not yet arrived, right? So I think that whatever it is that you need to clear up in your life, right? All of that historical, baggage that we carry like a coolie all our lives, and we have stronger shoulders than any men women from our community.
Yep.
Do we not? Right? That I think that all of this was cathartic for you. It took a long time to get there, but now it's time for you to kind of get out there, girl. The timing is perfect. There's a lot going on out there for talent like yours. I'd like to see you out there and do some things that are a lot more larger than life, because you have paid your creative dues and you'll continue to pay your creative dues.
Right.
But let's pay a few other things while we're at it,
It's
right?
true.
Because someone's
Absolutely.
going to. May as well be you, right? Adore you, darling. Thank you so
You
much
as
for your time.
well.
You're going to come back and talk to me, and you're going to say, Raj, I'm on this, that, and the other after our conversation. Right? You're going to come back and you're going to talk to me about that, because you are a tremendous talent,
Thank
sweetheart. And I love the fact that you have the guts and the courage to be real and honest about the things that you've gone through in your life. And are you dating now?
I am actually getting married.
God,
that's
tremendous.
that's the thing that I'm doing this year. My schedule has finally allowed me to have the time to devote some time to my personal life. And so, I'm getting married in a month.
Oh, I'm so excited about that. I really, really am. You go do that.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
going to be a little
that's the
busy
film.
getting married.
That's the film that we'll write once it's done.
Absolutely.
Thank you, my love.
Thank
Adore
you.
Thank you.